It started like any other weekend morning, quiet, peaceful, and uneventful. My sister Maya had just arrived to spend a few days at my condo. She's usually swamped with work at the Department of Homeland Security, where she supervises a team that runs background checks for high-level security clearances. But she was finally taking a break, or so we thought. Because, of course, an HOA board member named Ron decided her presence was suspicious, a guest the HOA didn't like. Maya parked her government vehicle, a nondescript SUV with a small federal tag, outside my unit in the guest section, clearly marked for visitor parking. She wore jeans and a hoodie, no badge visible. As she pulled a suitcase from the trunk, I came down to greet her. We barely had time to hug before a man stormed over. Middle-aged, clipboard in hand, wearing the self-importance only an HOA board member can radiate. "Ma'am," he barked, pointing at Maya, "you can't park here. This area is for registered guests only." "She is a registered guest," I replied calmly. "She's staying with me." Ron ignored me. "What's your name?" he asked Maya. "What's your business here?" Maya smiled politely. "Just visiting my brother. I believe guest parking is allowed, correct?" Ron narrowed his eyes. "I'll need to see ID. You can't just show up here unverified. We've had problems lately." Maya looked over at me and chuckled. "Is he serious?" Ron pulled out his phone. "You've got 5 seconds before I call our private patrol. We can have you removed or detained." The attempted arrest. Within minutes, 2 HOA contracted security guards rolled up in an old white truck with a magnetic community patrol sign on the side. No badges, no authority. But they treated their clipboard like a warrant. "She's trespassing," Ron declared. "I told her to leave. She didn't comply. She needs to be detained until we verify her background." Maya, still calm, asked, "Are you attempting a citizen's arrest?" One of the guards, trying too hard to look official, said, "We have the right to hold someone if the HOA suspects criminal behavior." At that, Maya sighed and reached into her bag, not for her ID, but her DHS badge. "Actually," she said, flipping it open, "I run federal background checks for a living. I know exactly what's legal and what isn't. And this is unlawful detention." The moment her badge came out, everything stopped. Ron's mouth hung open. The two guards glanced at each other like toddlers caught stealing candy. Tables turned. Maya kept it professional. She didn't raise her voice, didn't escalate. She simply pulled out her phone and began recording. "You've attempted to detain a federal employee without cause," she said, zooming in on their faces. "You demanded personal information under threat of force. This is harassment, intimidation, and impersonation of legal authority." The guards stepped back. We didn't know," one mumbled. Ron stammered, "We were just doing our duty." "Your duty doesn't include unlawful arrests," Maya replied. "And if you ever threaten me or my family again, I'll have internal affairs on this HOA so fast your board will need legal counsel by sunrise." The fallout. I filed a formal complaint the next morning. Maya submitted an incident report through DHS, and within a week, the HOA received notice from a federal legal advisor warning them of impersonating law enforcement and civil rights violations. Ron resigned for personal reasons. The private patrol company was dropped, and HOA board members were required to take a training course on legal boundaries regarding security. We even got a letter of apology from the HOA president, one of those awkward, legally cleared statements that admitted no guilt but reeked of fear. Maya? She laughed it off and went back to work like nothing happened. The takeaway. This incident was more than just HOA overreach. It was a prime example of what happens when people with a little power try to enforce rules they don't understand. Ron thought he could corner and control someone based on a gut feeling. He didn't know the woman he tried to intimidate was someone who literally oversees the clearance of agents and diplomats. Next time someone in authority threatens you without cause, remember Maya's calm, firm stance. And if you're lucky, your sister might just be the one who decides who gets a badge in the first place.